Math 8, Unit 5 Functions, Lesson 5. Compare multiple representations of functions. When we're comparing functions, we need to compare slopes and intercepts. If all the slopes are the same, then they're the same function, and if the intercepts are the same, they're the same function. On this, we're going to determine which of the functions is not equivalent to the other two. So for this, we're going to want to find slope and intercept. If I take a look here at this graph, it's got a slope of up 3 and over 2. And this has a slope of up 2 and over 3. So those are actually different. We may not even have to check the intercepts. This has a slope of 3 over 2, up 3 over 2, which matches the graph. So this middle one is not equivalent to the other two. And the reason for that is it has a different slope. Okay, so I'm going to look at another example. Who is working more quickly? Now, the speed at which someone works is going to be a per hour thing. In this case, it looks like per items per hour. The more items per hour would be the faster worker. And those are going to be slopes, so we just need to compare slopes. Joe has a slope of 13. We can find that right here in the equation. Mike has a slope where his output changes by 60 while his input, his hours change by 5. And the slope there is 12. So in making the comparison, who is working more quickly is Joe, because 13 is greater than 12. Okay, let's look at some examples here. This is in your assignment packet for Unit 5. If you would like to try these out, pause the video and then come back and try them. I'm just going to work straight through them. Evaluate f of 3. Well, f of x is in the table. The input of 3 has an output of 2. Evaluate g of minus 1. G of x is in the graph. Minus 1 is on the x-axis right there. It goes right to -7 because that's a point on the graph. Input -1, output -7. So the answer there is -7. Which function has a greater rate of change? We're going to need to find their rates of change. F of x increases 6 on the output while the input increases by 3. That gives us a rate of change of 6 divided by 3, output over input, of 2. G of x has a slope of up 3 over 1, so its slope is 3. Which function has a greater rate of change? Well, it's going to be g, and the reason for that is 3 is greater than 2. I'm going to scroll that up a little bit so that you can see it better. And then D, evaluate f of 0. What does it represent? All right, f of 0, we need to find the input of 0, and it goes to -4. And what does it represent? Well, it's going to represent the y-intercept of the f function. The next one, number 2, we've got h of x represented in the table and k of x represented in an equation. H of 0, input 0, output 2, it's actually the y-intercept. K of 0 is also the y-intercept, or it's what you get when you plug in 0 and calculate it. 0 plus 6, of course, is 6. H of 4, input 4, the output actually is 0. That's actually the x-intercept, which also gets called the 0 of the function. Later on in 10th grade, you'll learn it's also called the root of a function. And then k of 12, if I plug in 12 for x, I get -6 plus 6, which does give us 0. That is also the x-intercept of that function, and therefore the 0 of the function. Okay, next, number 3. On this, we're going to calculate m of 10. Well, here's m of x, input 10, output 6. M of -10. Now, we're going to have to follow the patterns up here. If we go 5, 0, -5, the next one in order would be -10. So we can just find the next one in order here. 6, 5, 4, 3. It's going to be 2. The output will be 2. Now, which is greater, m of 0 or n of 0? M of 0 is 4. N of 0 is 3/5 times 0 plus 2, 2. Which one's greater? M of 0 is greater. All right, which one's greater, M of 20 or N of 20? M of 20, we're going to have to keep the pattern going down a couple more spaces. 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 6, 7, 8. So M of 20 is 8. N of 20 is 3/5 of 20 plus 12. 3/5 of 20 is going to be 12 plus 2 is 14. So N of 20 ends up being greater. Okay, now for number 4. We're making a comparison here between P of x, Q of x, and R of x. On part A, which statement is true? P of 3 less than Q of 3 less than R of 3. It looks like on all of these, it's doing P of 3, Q of 3, and R of 3. We just need to put them in the right order. Well, P of 3 is 7. We can see that right here. Q of 3 is right here, 6. And R of 3 is 2 times 3 plus 2. That's 6 plus 2 is 8. So in order, Q is the smallest, followed by, because it's 6, P at 7 and R at 8. So we need to go QPR, which is this last one. That will put them in order when the input value is 3. Which statement is false? Q of 5 is 8, R of 5 is 10, and P of 5 is 11. Q of 5, we're going to have to use patterns here. It looks like at 0 we're at 3, at 1 we're at 4, at 2 we're at 5, and at 3 we're at 6. 4 we're at 7, 5 we're at 8. Okay, does Q of 5 equal 8? That's actually true, but we're looking for the one that's false. R of 5 is 10. That's 2 times 5 plus 2. That's 10 plus 2 is 12. That one's actually false. Let's check the last one real quick. P of 5 is 11. If we keep this pattern going, 0, 1, 2, 3, the next will be 4, and the one after that will be 5. Now 1, 3, 5, 7 on the output, so it'll go 9, then 11. So 5 does go to 11, that's true. So the one that's false is R of 5 equaling 10. C, which points are on the graph of the function R? So we're going to use R of x is 2x plus 2. 2 times 2 plus 2 is 6. That one's actually on the graph. 2 times 0 plus 2 is 2. That's on the graph. 2 times 4 plus 2 is actually 10, not 9. 2 times negative 1 plus 2 is 0. That one's on the graph. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. That's on the graph. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 2 is 18. Oh, that one's actually not on the graph. It should be an 18. And negative 10, negative 22. 2 times negative 10 is negative 20 plus 2 is negative 18. So that one's not on the graph. 2 times 100 is 200 plus 2 is 202. So that one's on the graph. And then the last question, which statements are true? Notice that we are comparing the rate of change between P and Q. So let's find those real quick. The rate of change in P is 2 over 1, which is 2. The rate of change for Q is up 1 over 1. So Q has a rate of change of 1. P has a greater rate of change than Q is true. Q has a greater rate of change than R. Oh wait, what was R's? Oh yeah, R has a rate of change of 2. So Q has a greater rate of change than R. Is 1 bigger than 2? That's not true. P and R have the same rate of change. They are both 2, so that one's actually true. Okay, in the assignment that goes with this video, you're comparing multiple representations. The first question, you're comparing 3 people in a race. One gives you an equation, one just gives you information so you can calculate the unit rate. And the others in the table, put them in order of when they cross the finish line, first, second, and third place. 2, you want to find out which one's the best dill for tutoring. You assume all are equally good at tutoring. Number 3, we're comparing 2 hiking teams, Team Alpha and Team Lambda. We've got a few questions to answer about that. Number 4, find the one that is not the same function as the other 2. Number 5, we're trying to find the shoe shop that Tammy plans on buying shoes from based on the information we're given there. Number 6, we're trying to find out which bucket is getting water added to it more quickly. And 7, we've got a mixture that sets into a solid. It takes different amount of time depending on the temperature. There's 2 different recipes, and one's represented in a table, the other's represented in an equation.